Alright, it's time to stop.
I don't think that piece is important.
It's time to start Gratcast. Stop playing with your little gun.
Little?
Where'd you get a real gun from anyway?
It's not real. It's a Hollywood gun. Has blanks in it.
It sure looks real.
No, check it out.
Yeah, feels real.
It's already cocked.
Looks like real bullets.
Careful, the safety's off. It's blanks.
All
See,
right.
it's blanks. Shit.
Still recovering?
Yeah. Still a little bit recovering.
I woke up slowly today and laid there extra long just thinking about what was outside of my room. You got pictures of it too, don't you?
Yeah, I got a few videos and a couple of pictures.
We're going to have to include some of those pictures in the video repost of the Gratcast episode later. This is Gratcast episode 18. We now have a Facebook page for people to follow us on Facebook for the Gratcast channel, because we have some exciting things happening in the near future with Gratcast. Will, we're going to be adding channels or more content.
We're going to get a comedy channel, I hear.
Yes. Joe Tadaro will be talking more at the end of this episode. We'll be doing his own Tadaro cast that will be on Fridays, starting this Friday. One of the other things we got to start right out with is, what did you do this afternoon, Will?
Cleaned up. Oh, wait. No. I went to see...
After the debacle was cleaned up.
I had a good Joe Tadaro segue into what that was going for. But I went to see... I got to go see... what the hell's the name of that movie? Super 8?
You told me, you're the one who just saw it.
Yeah.
That memorable, huh?
No, it was really good. Super 8's really good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a bit E.T.-ish, but it was still good.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. I told you it was pretty formulaic. It's pretty by the numbers.
I didn't know it was E.T.-ish.
Yeah.
That's a tough formula.
It's cool, though. It's worth a watch.
How long is it? Was it 2 hours?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good solid 2 hours. That's for sure. It was good, though. It was just, all the group of kids, the stars with all the little characters in the group. Making a little movie. It's funny.
Oh, so that's how it starts? Is like these kids are like, I have no idea anything about what it's about.
Yeah, it's all these misfit kids get together and they're making a movie, and all this stuff goes down in their little town while they're making this movie. Like aliens. And
most of it, do you see through their cameras?
No.
Okay.
No, thankfully.
Let's get right into the Gratfest review. The party itself was a great time. I think we had a good number of people here. We had the screen set up out back. We had food all day, the keg.
That you made? The pork?
Oh, yeah, we had the pork loin.
And the pork loin.
There'll probably be a picture right here of me holding the pork loin.
It's on the Facebook page.
We had the live feed going all day. I don't know how many people tuned in and watched the Gratcast live feed.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to...
I think over the course of the day we had over 50 people tune in and had a nice peak right around blood wrestling, if that's any...
Oh, really?
If that's any coincidence.
Were you watching the numbers?
I was watching the numbers a little bit. I was the one actually working the camera, following, trying to get in their faces during the blood wrestling.
I had to take over for our ref who quit after the first round mysteriously.
Yeah, Klinger was in and out all day yesterday. But the blood wrestling, the raw footage, we're going to talk about a little here, but the raw footage, if you want to watch it, is on the Ustream page. It was about 25 minutes in is when the actual wrestling starts. There's some pre-interviews and some post-interviews And all that stuff's going to be edited onto a nice little YouTube video this week for you to watch. But if you can't wait and you want to see blood wrestling right now, watch the raw footage on our Ustream channel.
It's pretty interesting.
What were your thoughts on the blood wrestling, Will? Our contestants, our original contestants, were Kelly, the ringer, and Andrea, our producer.
Kelly, Sam, what the fuck? I forget what her name was. She had Sam I Am or something was her stage name.
Oh yes, she had a stage name of Sam the Man.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
If you watch the raw footage, you'll hear her name and being introduced in that. But her lovely name is Kelly, and she was wonderful. And apparently, she's a ringer that does come with her own stage name. And she intimidated one of the other girls that was originally going to wrestle. So Andrea Vall, the trooper that she is, she stepped in at the last minute.
Yep.
And they got it on.
I couldn't believe Andrea went down that easy. I thought for sure this was where Andrea was gonna shine.
I was hoping for a rubber match, at least a split on the first two, and she got swept.
Yeah.
But then Andrew, our new friend from the Blood Flesh Fest, that's June 25th, stepped in and took on the reigning champion. And he was defeated and
got his ass handed to him.
He made it. He pushed it to 3 matches though. There was a split, and that last one was quite a test of endurance.
Those guys were so tired. They were they just wanted. They were like talking to each other, like just go down.
That was the best part. I'm close to him on the camera, so I could hear them. They're each trying to tell the other one to take a dive.
Yeah.
But their pride wouldn't let them be the one that would take the dive, so they kept muscling it out.
Ended up being a battle to the end. I felt bad for them. I did, because I know how tired they were, and they just wouldn't give up. Hey, they were tenacious.
It's amazing what pride will make you do sometimes.
Gay pride.
And then they took a shower together, so everybody won in the end. They had to get the blood off, got cleaned off, everybody wins. Speaking of the Blood Flesh Fest, that's June 25th, and we're going to be there.
Is that what, on Hollywood and Vine? Is that where it's at?
Yeah, I believe it is on Hollywood and Vine.
The Vine Theater.
Yes, the Vine Theater.
You're going to have a panel going on.
There's an interview Randy and I did earlier this week that it will be on the website for the Blood Flesh Fest. And you can see Andrew before he's covered in blood and wrestling around in our pool.
I've got that whole video too. I gotta get to it.
Oh, did you seen the interview video? Oh, the behind the scenes.
Wow.
Oh, come on, Manny. Manny, the projector guy.
Manny's not a big fan.
Interrupting Gratcast, yeah. He's calling. He's calling in.
Probably is. Where's my projector? Still drunk.
Speaking of the projector, thank you for the segue back to our original topics, Manny. We had the screen that you'll see pictures of on the back of the house. Set up. Did you get any pictures of that, of our screen?
I got video of it.
Sweet. I guess we can take stills then. We had the whole screen set up for the backyard and had the screening out back and that. And I gotta be honest with you, I've seen the movie a ton of times. Clearly, I'm a big fan. I was heavily involved in making the movie. But what I was really looking forward to most was all these people getting the fuck out of my house, Will, so I could play some hockey on that big-ass screen on the side of the house.
Yeah, you went to great lengths to get that PS3 adapter cord found so you could do just that.
We started a new season last night, Will, after another heartbreaking first-round defeat. And I know I'm speaking straight code to you right now, so I'm really talking to our listeners.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures.
4 games we played last night on the jumbo screen, Will. 4 games and only let up 1 goal. That's 3 shutouts in 1 goal. That's unheard of in PlayStation land, in real hockey land. Like I revamped our defense in the offseason, and you know what? I don't give a shit what John says. I'm taking credit. I revamped our defense in the offseason, and these guys are straight fucking studs. It's impossible to score on them. And once you get through our defense, you got Carey Price waiting for you in his prime. It's just... This team is built for one purpose and one purpose only.
To destroy the enemy?
Win the damn Stanley Cup so I can stop playing this fucking game once and for all and get back to more important tasks.
Oh, so it's all about that, huh?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
Understandable. How fast did that keg go last night, though? That was
Uh,
apparently surprising to you. I didn't think it was that surprising.
It was extremely surprising to me, Will, because I've had a lot of many keg parties on the East Coast, and I've spoken outly, I'm sure, in many of
And
our
Mike
18
Garrow
episodes.
was probably at them.
Yeah, oh, most certainly. And I've
Just like he
spoken.
was yesterday.
I've spoken profusely about how I feel people on the West Coast can't drink nearly as well as people on the East Coast. And that keg was tapped by 8:30 last night. I couldn't believe it. It's like, why did everybody leave?
Yeah, right before the movie
That's why.
started.
The keg's floating.
Right before the movie started, the keg was tapped, and nobody watched the movie. It was awful.
A few people did, Will.
Jamie did.
Jamie did, yes.
Jamie did.
Yes,
Jamie did. Suzanne.
No.
She didn't?
She didn't.
Oh.
She was inside. The room was spinning a little bit for her.
Oh, she's delicate.
She's a little light on the alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
I think it's time to start our new segment here, Will.
Let's do it.
It's the GFY of the week that we will also probably have a little. I don't know.
For those of you who tuned in last week, you saw an example.
This could expand into its own little video rant of the week, its own segment. Who knows? But for right now, it's living on the middle section of this week's episode of Gratcast.
What a great place to get a start.
Here's how we're going to protect the guilty, Will. Because we don't want too many people crying, and not everybody can handle the amount of information I'm willing to share with everybody. For people that are personally affiliated with us, that have committed mortal sins, we will compare to Hollywood movie characters. We will use Hollywood movie characters as pseudonyms for their names. If it's a public figure, like, I don't know, let's say, who's a pain in my ass?
A pain in your ass that's a public figure?
Who's a pain in your ass that's a public figure? Well, just a random person.
A random person that's a public figure.
Just out there that doesn't really... Here's a perfect example. This Wiener guy, the politician that showed his dick. This guy, he could be a GFY. We can say his name, fucking Joe Wiener, whatever the hell your name is. We can say him. He's not associated with us.
Right. We can talk about Paris Hilton.
Yes.
Lindsay Lohan.
We could say those names.
Okay.
Until we sleep with them, and then we can't. Right. Now we're affiliated with them, and we'll have to use pseudonyms. But in the meantime, this week's GFY...
Probably 5 or 6 months.
And their, I hate to be necessary pseudonym, is going to be Fredo, Will.
Of the Godfather franchise?
Of the Godfather franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, due to some of our recent exposures of your lack of film knowledge, we do have to preface this by making sure you've actually seen The Godfather. Do you know who of we speak when I say Fredo?
Sure.
I don't think I or the people at home are convinced with that, Will.
I've seen it.
Okay. So do you know who Fredo is?
Judas.
That was pretty much his representation.
That's why I wanted to name him his last name and make it a scary.
The quick brief backstory for the sake of this story. Fredo was the misfit older brother of the Corleone family that just was a fucking half-wit. Just dumb as rocks and couldn't be helped. And shock of all shocks, he got passed over for head of the family, and Michael took over, long story short. He thought he was helping the family and was always out to prove he knew better than Michael, and no matter what he was told or how many gifts, he was running trains on cocktail waitresses in Las Vegas for years and just couldn't keep his nose out of trouble. Always had to try to do his own business for the family and kept fucking things up, Will. And it didn't even realize that he accidentally helped plan an assassination attempt on his brother and his family. And ultimately, breaking Michael's heart, he had to send him out on a little fishing trip just off the waters, the shoreline of the house with one of the security guards. And Fredo didn't come back from that little fishing trip, Will.
Is something like that gonna happen?
Unfortunately, our Fredo is gone on his fishing trip. It's a fishing trip of anonymity, never to be heard from him again.
I got you.
Thou shall who not be spoken of, Will.
I understand.
Fredo, for all intents and purposes.
Estatuas.
What's your take on this whole situation, Will?
It's kind of laughable to me because everybody saw it coming. I hope.
The people that don't look at things through rose-colored lenses, I think, saw Fredo for what Fredo has always been. Loyalty is either something you have or you don't. You can't get loyalty. You can't. It's instinct. And some people are just empty inside. And I think not having any loyalties and not having any true identity inside can be very beneficial if you're, say, an actor, because you're used to and your whole life is being whatever you think somebody wants you to be. Whatever you think will get you what you need or want or get you ahead, you can be that. You can pretend to be this, that. You don't even know who you are. You're so lost and you have no loyalty to anything. Your only loyalty is to the role you feel you need to play at this moment in time.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that.
How fake of an existence that must be?
Yeah, like what's real and what isn't.
Uh,
that would be the case.
When you don't know the difference between people who have bent over backwards for you, who have cared for you, who have treated you like a friend and a brother, not just a companion and a partner or an employee.
Gave you plenty of chances.
Yeah, and continually understood that you're a half-wit and gave you opportunities to not continue to go directly against the family, and you continue to do so in a malicious attempt. You promise your family that you're not going to do this anymore, in a basic intervention type setting, and not even 3 days later, you go and do the exact same thing all over again, with the potential to lose all your friends, your life, your everything.
I honestly have not been able to determine if he knows what he's doing or has no idea what he's doing.
And it's not even for something. It's for a pig full of broken promises. The absolute epitome of the devil. I'll make whatever promise I need to make to get whatever I can get from you. You're being used and abused by someone that's never given you anything but a bad reputation. And that is enough to sway your loyalty from one thing to the next. That you're like a fucking bag blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I don't even know if he would understand that explanation.
I think we got our title for this week, Will.
Yeah.
Fucking bag blowing in the wind.
Good. Very good. Aye.
Anything to say on the Fredo topic, Will, for this week's GFY?
No, I said it right at the top of the I said it right at the beginning. I wasn't surprised, and I just found it amusing.
So this week we say GFY to you, Fredo.
Fredo was scary, yeah.
And we know you're going to be lurking and just heartbroken and not know why you've been ostracized. You've been ostracized because nobody can trust you. You have no loyalty to anyone that cared about you. See this bear on the ground right here? Loyalty. Because he knows who feeds him, Will. Now, on a more fun note, I think we should talk about a discussion that we had while we were rolling and collecting coins earlier this week.
Are you talking about the board games discussion?
I am talking about the board game discussion. We didn't have any board games and started discussing board games we wished we had. And one of the board games that came up was?
One that I have never even heard of.
You seriously have never heard of Guess Who?
I've not heard of Guess Who.
Really?
It made me think of Clue. That's why I was talking about Clue that day.
So did you have any idea what we were talking about when we were talking about this game?
Not at that point.
Okay. Guess Who is, you get this little plastic tray of 25, let's say 25 little slots that pop up.
Okay.
And in each slot is a picture. So you have the cards that all go in there and they stay in there. So when the game's over, they all lay flat And when a new game starts, you just tip it, and they all lean, so they're all sitting up facing you, the player.
And was it get narrowed down one by one during the course of the game?
Each of you have the same group of players, and there's a pile of the cards of all those same players. You each grab a card, and that whoever that person is, that's who you are. So you knock that person down right away because you obviously know they're not you. So now you get to ask a series of yes or no questions on, like, some of the people in the pictures have a hat on their head. Does your person have a hat on their head? If they say no, they don't, then you're probably going to only knock off 5 or 6. But if they say yes they do, then you're probably knocking off like 20 of them. So you're like all the way down to there. Now the other person's panicking. They're grasping at straws and their questions. The gay part about it is there's 25 people and there's like 3 black people. So like, is your person black? Yes. You're like, fuck, I got one of the black people. And it's not racist. It's an odds game. Like, if there's only 3 people and that person asks the magic question, is your person black? And you have to say yes, you're fucked. And so maybe there's a subconscious loss or racism in the game, but it doesn't.
How can you ever not acknowledge that? You got to sit around and pretend like that's not. It's like the big elephant in the corner of the room.
So I guess it breeds like that underground animosity in kids to hate the black person, because now your odds aren't in your favor right from the get-go.
Who came up with that one? Milton Bradley?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a Milton Bradley game. But so anyway, on this series of questions, you have to narrow down which person it is. When you feel you've got it figured out, like, you can go all the way down to one person where you've got 2 left and you're asking one question that differentiates the 2, or if you got a certain gut feeling, you can bang it out. Side tangent. Last time I actually played this game was in a Hooters in Pasadena with Drunk Mike, and I made him cry because like 10 games in a row with like 5 or 6 people, he had me down to one left, and when it was his turn, he was gonna guess. So I had to take a stab at it, and like 10 times in a row, I nailed it and got it right and fucking stole the victory from him, and he was furious. But anyway, the idea came up that we should have a live version, like a little web video of a live version of Guess Who. What you would need 25 sets of twins. So we'd have to put a Craigslist ad out for 25 sets of twins, and you'd have to dress them up in identical outfits. We already got 1 set of twins, so we actually only need 24. And then you'd have 2 podiums where they'd stand out over this field of people lined up in the rows, and then you'd ask your question, and then tell the people to go if it's not them. You could play Guess Who live. I think it'd be hilarious to see.
Maybe it would. Maybe you can make it into a cartoon.
It would have to be with live people. Because something like that's just funny if you do it with live people.
Yeah, it would be.
So that was my coin rolling conversation of the week.
That was a coin toss of the week.
Yes. Oh, coin toss of the week. There we go. New topic.
Yay. Coined here.
Now you're getting corny. This brings us to the Hollywood Corner, Will.
Oh, yeah?
And you know what's interesting about this week's Hollywood Corner?
What?
Is that we actually have a closing segment organized and ready for after the Hollywood Corner. So it's not just like, okay, and that's it.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Look out. We're starting to find we're slowly getting out of our own way.
Doesn't seem like it.
No. But we're trying.
We are, though.
I'm gonna let you kick off the Hollywood Corner question of the week, Will, because I asked first last week.
So does that mean that you do not have a question? Because I have an answer for an answer for both of us if you say no to that.
I absolutely do not have a question.
I have got a deal for you, pal.
Throw it out there on the table. I'm most likely to agree.
Here's what we're gonna do.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'm desperate.
I don't know why. Okay, I do know why. This ties into Super 8, but I'm not gonna explain why because I don't want to give it away. But let's
I have a curiosity, Will.
You'll be okay. So what do you feel about the zombie craze, the zombie movie craze, as a Buffalo native, where all those zombie movies get made, all the little ones?
The simple word zombie makes me cringe.
Good. Then this is gonna be good. Okay, so like starting with Night of the Living Dead and like up through till today, and like that AMC TV show that was a piece of shit, that was The Walking Dead, that was based on a comic book.
Yes.
From the beginning to there, and you answer it from Buffalo, from filmmaker, from fan. I'll do the same.
Okay.
You go first with your spite.
I've never really liked the zombie stuff.
Ever?
No. Shoot. Sneeze button. No, I've never really liked the zombie craze. I don't understand what it is. Like, okay, it's a fucking monster, just like every other like folktale monster there is. There's the fucking Frankenstein, there's Dracula, who are all an individual character. They're not just a fucking mob of the undead. They have some sort of story to do with them. Okay, just an army of every fucking zombie disease movie. They're all the same. Okay, so you have some different stories with the individuals that ultimately get surrounded by a bunch of fucking zombies and they're stuck. Get it already. Everyone comes up with a different concept. The snow zombies, the Nazi zombies, the this zombies. I don't understand why they're so cult fucking fabulous and it's played out now. It seems like everyone that wants to make a film or get going or ooh, I'm gonna make my zombie film. Like I love everybody that is I directly know that's making zombie films, but I'm sorry, but I'm fucking zombie to goddamn death. And it seems like everybody is, which the worst part about it is all these people are people that I know that are making films, which means in the next coming years there's going to be an endless ton of no-name zombie movies flooding the market, and it doesn't end. That's my take on fucking zombies.
I hear you. I feel your pain. The franchise done jumped the shark a long time ago.
One last end note to that.
Uh-huh.
I find it a fascinating symbolism towards like our description last week about fucking money turns people into zombies, and this is a zombie nation. Will they just whatever fucking you can zone out and not have to use any brain power.
Amen.
And that's what I feel a zombie movie is. I don't need any brain power. I just make a bunch of fucking bad actors.
Maybe that's why people love it so much. They feel the change happening in them. It's just going a lot slower.
I'm not gonna say there's not a ton of cheesy stuff you can do with it, but it's not for me.
Okay, what was the very first one you ever watched that you can recall?
Zombie movie that like stood in my mind?
Yeah.
I guess Night of the Living Dead, bits and pieces of it. Like
really?
I don't think I still have ever seen it straight through. I think I've just seen chunks of it.
I was a kid when I watched it, and that was the very first one I ever saw. And I watched it on Halloween night up at my grandmother's house because it was her birthday. And I don't know. There was just something about like if that were I don't know. It immersed me in it. I like got sucked into that world. Like holy shit, what if something like that happened?
I was always terrified of dead bodies, and I never liked the idea of stuff crawling out of the ground. So zombies that like came to life by crawling out of the ground like really freaked me out. But the stupid fucking disease stories and shit, like Zombieland, I really liked though. Mm-hmm. That's freaking I loved it. But that was because it was funny and I didn't like it because it had zombies in it.
The good thing about the zombie craze is with the glut of all the zombie movies that have come out over the last 20 years, or I don't know, it's gone up. But every once in a while, there's a cool one like that pops up.
So, where's your take on these zombies?
That they jumped the shark a long time ago, and I think that a niche horror, gets its own cable show based off of a comic book. I think
the dead horse has been kicked to fucking ground meat.
Yeah, it just keeps getting back up like a zombie horse, and they keep knocking it down, but they haven't shot it in the head yet. I hope The Walking Dead shot it in the head.
All right, It's time to shoot this episode of Gratcast in the head, Will. And here comes our wrap-up sequence. I'll pass. No more gun violence. No more gun violence.
Thanks, Lance.
Look for Friday, the debut of Tadaro Cast with Joe Tadaro, a local Hollywood aspiring stand-up comedian.
Did a little stand-up comedy last night at
He
Gratfest
did.
1.
He also hosted the Blood Wrestling, and that's a reminder if you
MC'd.
The Blood Wrestling video will be edited and up on YouTube this week before this coming week's Gratcast. The Raw video, if you'd like to see it from start to finish, is on Ustream right now on the Ustream page, and it's 25 minutes in is when the wrestling starts.
It's down below. Look down.
Gratcast is now on Facebook. Please add us, accept us, share us to your friends. We'll be doing poll questions. A poll question of the week that's based on our topic of discussion.
And we'll get your, hopefully, input on the show and your influence in the show's direction as well with your questions and comments.
We're going to plug a topic for next week's episode, Will. A rare plug. We have yet to do that.
We planned that far in advance?
Well, it's actually stuff on the board for this week that didn't get discussed, so because of Gratfest and everything.
Spillover.
Yes. We are going to discuss the ins and outs of why we're releasing the movie on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
We're going to go over the numbers, Will. Nothing to hide. I'm going to explain why I think it makes sense and why I don't think it's crazy and why I don't think it can hurt anybody and it's going to benefit all of us.
Exactly. It just makes sense. It's just logical. That's all it is. Pure logic. Easy.
That's it for this week's Gratcast.